Dr. Gast here for GBS 151. We've been talking about capitalism, and there's a couple of things I just really want to stress. That is, when we talk about a free market, we actually classify the U.S. as a mixed economy. And what we mean by that is we do like the free market, but we do have the government that's directing us or telling us what we can or can't do. Uh, let's define free market and those rights that as Americans we expect we can own property. We expect that we can own a business and that we can keep the profits. We believe that we have the right to freedom to compete against each other. And last, the freedom of choice, meaning where we work, what career we have, where we live, what degrees or how we want to fulfill our life ambitions is more at our discretion rather than the government. Okay. Also, we're going to be talking about key economic indicators. If you read chapter 1, and again, this is going to be due next week as we enter week 3, I want you to complete reading chapter 1. There are some key economic indicators. And you say, oh, I don't care. This is just like old hash. Who cares what the unemployment rate is? These are indicators to businesses that there's movement that can be negative or positive. Okay. One of the key indicators, we want to look at gross domestic product, or sometimes GDP. And this is looking at the productivity. How many goods? What's the total value of the goods that we create? Now, this can be even foreign companies, but if they're located in the U.S. with their operation and they're producing something, we do count that as part of our value of goods. And so right now we have a value that's around 14, 15 trillion dollars per year. This is why we enjoy good or a high standard of living in the U.S. compared to other countries, because we're very productive in this country. We have an unemployment rate. You say, who cares unless you're unemployed? Businesses, when we look at how many jobs are created, those are reported to the government, and we keep those figures. An example of a high unemployment rate was in 2010, after the 28, 29 financial crisis. By the time a couple years, we saw that we had a tremendous jump in unemployment that almost was 10% of the population, meaning they didn't have a job, but they were looking for a job. And then we have price indices. These indexes might be consumer goods. What's the cost of going into the grocery store? In agriculture, for instance, we would keep the market basket, saying each week we would go in and monitor what it costs of eggs and ham or whatever you meat that of your preference, that this grocery basket would be the same items each week, but we could see there's a movement. And so in recent weeks, we've seen, well, not just weeks, in the recent months, there's been a lot of discussion about cost of eggs. That's all tied into these indicators telling us there's a shift in what our standard of living might be. Might be going up, might be going down. And then there's also reference, I want to call your attention to business cycles. Businesses have some are very volatile, like seasonal or up and down. Turkey industry, the poultry, especially turkey. I was involved consulting with them at one point, and what we saw is that most of the turkey is consumed in the last quarter of the year because of the holidays. So that's the reason they came out with turkey hot dogs, turkey type, and for health reasons, but they were able to maintain production high throughout the year, not just toward the end. And then we do make reference to recessions and depressions, and you say, well, we use those words very loosely. Someone says, oh, we're in a recession, we're in a depression. There are very specific terms among economists. You can't just be irresponsible. You do have to identify that when we call a recession is when we have 2 quarters in a row in which our productivity has gone down. And then depression is where we have deflation. Um, uh, it's um, it's a very difficult time where we have high unemployment. So all these factors add up to say what kind of conditions have we created. And one of the things that will really stand out is that we have a middle class that's shrinking, as opposed to some other countries. For instance, Mexico has an expanding middle class, and those are indicators that something is moving us in a direction that may say our standard of living might not be as high. So we want to know those terms so we, as a business, can be prepared or make adjustments accordingly. Okay, there we go. I look forward to seeing you in class. Just wanted to clarify.